John, good to have you back. It's been a while since we last talked, so I would ask you to bring us up to speed on what is happening at Sonoro. Let's start with very interesting news you published a couple of days ago. Why did you sell the Chipriona royalty to Agnico Eagle now?
Yeah. Well, hello, Bjorn. Very pleased to speak with you again. That's a very good question to open the conversation. So it's important that the background and the rationale of our decision to sell the royalty be clearly understood. As to the background, the 1% net smelter royalty was a legacy non-core asset which originated from the sale of Chipriona to Agnico Eagle Mines in December 2016. Now, as a part of that agreement, Agnico had an option to purchase the royalty for a maximum price of $1.5 million. And it's important to remember that it was an option that Agnico had, and it was not an obligation. So as to our rationale, now, Sonora Metals, as you know, is a junior mining company with 2 gold projects in northern Mexico, Cerro Caliche project and the San Marcial project. While both projects are in the exploration and development phase, we believe they both have the potential to be developed. Therefore, in the absence of Sonoro not having a revenue stream, we thought it was important that we could generate some revenue from the sale of the royalty. And if we consider $875,000 coming to the company without any shareholder dilution was a very sound, strategic, and prudent decision. Consider that if we were to raise $875,000 in the market at current price, that would have effectively been about a 15% share dilution.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be been a huge dilution. So I think shareholders appreciate you're not having to go to the market. So from a strategic point of view, it certainly makes sense to me, at least. To you, obviously. But there have been some questions as to the price, because if I remember correctly, Agnico was had the option to buy it back for $1.5 million or something, and now they paid $870,000. Can you explain a bit about that?
Certainly, and that's another good question, and one that has been raised several times. The important factor is that Chipriona is not in production. It's still in the exploration and development stage. Therefore, without a defined timeline for Agnico to take the project to production, in fact, if it ever takes it to production, it was very difficult for us to determine if Agnico would ever exercise that option. Now, that option, as you mentioned, had a payout of $1.5 million. That was the exercise price. And therefore, from our calculations, the net present value of $1.5 million, if we discounted 10% over a 5-year period, would take it to about $930,000. The difference, therefore, is about $56,000, which we consider to be a very fair risk factor.
Okay. That's good to have that cleared up, to have that understood. Now, $875,000 is still a lot of money for an exploration company. You can do a lot of work with that, and that's what it's intended to go to, right? This money to bring the project, especially Cerro Caliche, forward, further drilling. Can you tell us a bit about your plans there?
Certainly. As we included in our news release when we announced the sale of the royalty, we intend to commence the phase 3 drilling program at Cerro Caliche. It's expected to take about 6 months. The program is going to include step-out drilling and also infill drilling in the known areas of mineralization. The first objective is to increase and upgrade the gold resources at Cerro Caliche's central zone, and beyond that, where we had, by the NI 43-101, 201,000 ounces of gold equivalent in the inferred sector. Secondly, is to further explore the potential of the known 17 zones of gold mineralization, because approximately 2/3 of that area are yet to be drilled.
Okay, so a lot of work to be done still, but also a lot of potential to grow resources. Now, in contrast to other companies, you had a plan to start a pilot operation at Cerro Caliche. Can you tell us about that? Where are you there? how are you working on the funding? How is the progress?
We continue to advance our discussions with the China-based EPC companies. As previously reported, we entered into confidentiality agreements with 5 of those companies. Director of Finance Neil McDowell and I have met twice in China with the senior executives and project managers of each company. The discussions have been very positive. We covered all aspects of the proposed pilot plan, including the permitting process, the contracts, anticipated capital operating costs, plus, of course, the associated project financing. Now, think based on the resource of, say, 200,000 ounces of gold, the pilot plant could support an operation of at least 5 years, producing 20,000 ounces of gold per annum. Now, we hope to have an agreement and financing in place within the first quarter of 2020. And that is, I think, what will distinguish Sonoro from the other smaller companies, that the fact that we will be able to move fairly rapidly to a production situation, thereby minimizing dilution.
Well, that's certainly true. You don't hear a lot of gold exploration companies talking about pilot operations, where in other areas it's more common. Certainly a unique selling proposition, so to speak. Now, then let's say everything goes according to plan, which is pretty unlikely in the mining industry, but you never know. Where would you like to be at the end of this year, let's say, with Sonoro?
We have a very well-defined business plan, timeline, and execution strategy to achieve our goal to become a mid-tier gold producer. Our aim is to achieve that goal within 24 to 36 months with minimum dilution. And that is a key thing, minimum dilution, because that is what kills most of the small junior companies, that they continue to have to go back to the equity market. We expect to be well on our way to achieving our goal and steadily enhance shareholder value by the end of 2020. And this will be accomplished in 2 ways. First, we expect to complete our program of the Phase 3 exploration and development at Cerro Caliche. Our ultimate goal is to identify 1 million ounces of gold on that project. Secondly, based upon our discussions with the EPC companies, we're optimistic that we will be able to achieve an agreement with one of those companies to develop a pilot plant, and also to secure the related non-dilutive project financing. The time frame from the date of finalizing that agreement until we could be in production is about 18 months. This will mean by the end of 2020, we will be well under our way to achieve our goal.
Okay, that would be very interesting, or very good to see, of course. Well, I wish you all the best of luck, and that the gold price keeps up in the direction it's been going recently, which would certainly help. Thank you for taking the time, and we'll talk soon or after a while to see how it all went. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Björn. A pleasure.